Hi, and welcome to Sandy's Numerology. What I'm going to say from the outset shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, but we're going to go into a lockdown in January. Cyril normally does his announcing around the middle of the month. And right now, many people have got onto flights, gone overseas, gone to holiday places, and I feel that to do the lockdown before the 31st of December or the 5th or so of January would kind of be a bit of a negative for those who have traveled. But the way things are going, we have surpassed the highest case day that we had on the 14th of July, 2020. And South Africa's midpoint of each year between the 31st of May, 2020, our midpoint is the 30th of November, which is a midpoint like a peak point. And then we still have to go through to May of 2021 in a personal 4-year, which is everything that I said in the very first video of 2020 South Africa. We are still in lockdown numbers, and people have been so careless, and even the DA wanting to open the beaches. I mean, what don't they get about this disease? I'm not saying the word because YouTube restricts anything related to mentioning of the disease. And now there's this new strain. So South Africa's in a 4-5 until May 2021. And that 5, which makes us 59 years of age, is the words import or export. And it seems that we have exported this new strain to the UK, and many of the people that have gone there and gone on holiday are being tracked down and being forced to go into the UK's lockdown, let alone specifically or added to their cases. This is now put an emphasis on their lockdown. So South Africa is going into back to where we were probably in March, April, May, June, July. We could go back to level 2, 3, 4, or 5. But lockdown 4-5 is the year that we are currently in. We're in a 4-5 year. People who are not wearing masks, this should be a law and mandatory. People are putting so much pressure on our health facilities and our essential services. And I know this is about businesses and the people wanting to keep their businesses going. But what is the point where you kind of have this expectation and you think that now that things are slightly opened up, you can continue in old ways? And South Africa goes into a 5 personal, starts kind of 2 months before the 31st of May in 2021. So March is the kind of the start of opening the lockdown. We should have only gone to level 3 or 2 in March of 2021. But what I said in my 2020 video on South Africa and the world is this is restrictions, restructuring, closing up of businesses, shutting down of businesses, ending of businesses. It's about boundaries, it's about rules, regulations, and people are flouting the protocol and putting other people's lives in jeopardy. And when you go to a friend, just because you think you know them, you don't know what happened the day before or that morning. Were they out at shops and did they follow the protocols of wearing a mask, let alone washing their hands, touching surfaces? This is a dangerous situation. And we don't quite have a complete understanding of this disease. And with this new strain, and it's affecting youngsters, which at the beginning of this disease said that their chances of survival is, or getting the disease was not as strong. But after that rage party, and now people are holding little soccer matches and trying to do their celebrations, but we should be down to that minimum of how many people we are with. This is going to have a further impact, remembering that we're still in a 4 personal year until May 31st. But we then go from 2021 May, starting 2 months before, into a 5 personal. And that is still import and export. That 5 means colds, flus, but just the import export doesn't matter whether it's PPEs or it's importing gold or it's exporting food or whatever. There's still going to be further difficulties. I have posted the 2021 video that's been up for about 6 months already on my YouTube. Excuse me, I've got a fly in my office. But people, we need to stop flouting the masks and washing of hands and sanitizing, and we need to start speaking to people that we know and watch that they are following the protocols. It's so important because there's going to be more businesses that are going to be closing, more job losses that are coming. It's going to dig even deeper now. A lot of difficulties are coming for the global world as it is. But for South Africa, we only go into that 2021, kind of softly starts in March, it hits in May. And then in 2022, May, we come out of the 5. We've got to be careful. I don't see this vaccine, I mean, a quite light February, March of next year, but to get how many millions that we probably do need is going to take a matter of a strategy and who gets them and how that's all implemented through into November of next year. And I'm saying as people, we're going to go to a further lockdown. There's going to be further restrictions because people are flouting the rules and the protocols. You have to take care. We're not out of this. There's many other countries that I've looked at that are nowhere near. I mean, America's peak is January. So if our peak was November and we've got a problem now in December, which will still be January and February and March, America's problem in January is going to continue, and they've got the vaccine. They're getting access to it before we are. People, you've got to take care, because to go into a further lockdown, I know we're not going to be happy about it, but it's coming. This is the reality of this disease. Is when I heard of the team on 947, that they all had to go into lockdown and how sick Anelia was. And it gave me such a fright. That was the first person that I knew and have met that kind of is close to me for the first time of somebody who had this disease. And she wasn't sounding terribly good even when she returned back to work. Some people don't even know they've got it because the symptoms are so mild. But you're contagious. Please, people, you've got to watch it and expect a further lockdown, because that is definitely going to be happening. I'm the bearer of bad news these days. It's all kind of quite negative, but a force to be practical, smart, put boundaries. The longer we do that for, the better it is for everybody, so that all these new businesses can emerge and entrepreneurship can emerge. And the businesses that are meant to survive will survive because of how we're going to adapt into new ways of operating and working. Be warned. Take care. And have a safe Christmas and New Year. Thank you for watching Sandy's Numerology.